Potentially, yeah. That's a slight adjustment on the side of KRU from maybe what we're expecting. And that's on the side of Fnatic, a little bit of switch up as well. I'm potentially looking to pull something out of the bag here. I mean, I said I wouldn't expect it in game one, but it might actually be on the cards here for Fnatic, as just about to get game one underway here, Lauren.
All right, deep breaths. We are about to dive into game one of Masters. Fnatic up against KRU, LATAM facing off against the EMEA, the European side, of course, of Fnatic here. Going to kick things off, and it'll be KRU on the defensive side and Fnatic on the attack. And you've got to keep your eyes on those young guns coming in. You've got your Durka, you've got Magnum. These two are heavy hitters. And it looks like a quick piece to begin with. Already Durka just going to put his body on the line, fly right in towards the site.
Actually come through, yeah. It's 2 for 1 in favor of KRU, actually, and B&J actually gonna find another one, and we'll find the third. Doma falls now down to just Magnum as he comes up short. Here come through, try and swing on. We'll get that headshot through. Tag down to about 70 HP. A lot left to do, and Klaus actually gonna close that one out. And actually, like you said, a very fast piece coming through towards A side, but well handled by KRU, in particular B&J.
Fnatic, did you just try and go quickly against a LATAM team? Fnatic, hey? No. Don't be doing that. Don't be hold your horses here. But a great start, and I think that just proves the firepower that we know is with this region specifically. But we have to now see what they can keep doing down the line. This will bring the economy favorably, and of course we get to see the new UI as well. Look how cool this looks. You get to see everything. This is great, but also huge shout out as we are going to be seeing a bit of a lighter investment, no armor to supplement the sheriffs and bits and pieces for Fnatic, whereas KRU, of course, going on the full-on SMG buy-up. Unless Fnatic start to turn some of this, we can kind of give a big shout out to our observers as well. Prius, Sapphire, and Yeti bringing you all the action live from in-game, and you gotta love your observers. They're the ones that make it look damn good. Exactly, right? Like, can't mess around with that. But into the game we go. Looking at the utility usage, this looks very similar to what I came to expect, at least watching KRU's previous games coming into this tournament, especially Delzik being such an integral piece playing in towards Garage, and I'm sure Fnatic have looked over the same things, but Doma going to claim a quick kill out of nowhere. B&J, the danger man from the last round, is now down.
This is on the back of actually a lot of presence shown on the side of KRU. I mean, B&J and Exit actually showing their face over on A. Delzik now just anticipating Magnum drifting through into Garage here, but we'll
this
back
contact
away.
On A.
Yeah.
If they just go subtle, now, yes, Nagzet does find one, but they're going to lose position on long. This is where they could maybe overwhelm, but no! Out of nowhere, the huge deny, shut down. There was so much opportunity for maybe a spike plant, get a little bit of a punish, maybe take away some of that economy, but now it's just in tatters. Magnum, great player, but this one, way out of check.
A really, really nice round once again from KRU. I love actually, just in the early round, making a really good read, right? The fact that Fnatic are going to come in, try and take close contact in sewers, just throwing the wall down, just to put the brakes on. We know, obviously, Fnatic like to get early round control in terms of forward to this. Lines up perfectly here, and the last comes through. Doma not able to trade that one out. Actually, a little weapon switch onto the classic for the last. A really nice round from Nagzet.
Okay, so we do have the rifles. Now we do at least have the, what we like to call the bonus round for KRU, so they will be sticking on the lighter purchase, but so as expectation should be, this should be a Fnatic round, but let's see what damage could be done by KRU here. So far, looking for potentially the fight, or at least the shoulder peek towards long, and that's going to get Durka at least on notice, but they are still holding a default for Fnatic.
Little jump spot there. Durka will find ahead at least. No damage put through. And Fnatic now, I guess, anticipating them trying to convert these weapons. Nobody from KRU actually overextending too far. They come through, find no information, but information nonetheless through sewers here. Actually, that's going to force a drift away from A side and some aggression elsewhere.
You've got to keep this clean. If you're on the fan side of Fnatic, you want to see them not get, I guess, lax in this by any account. Klaus on the other side waiting. Boaster starting to build towards, at least indicating the hit may be coming through. You can see the utility put towards A. He's facilitating that. Maybe a quick flank for him. B&J, though, going to get all the information. And the dash does come out from Durka. He's on the side. The snap comes in. No damage done yet for KRU. And here comes that lurk from Boaster. Lovely work from him. Good read on these rotations. Going to be outnumbered now. Needs to keep that rifle if they want to keep this clean.
Yeah, Klaus comes through, pinched perfectly. So we get one upgrade here. Will they consider coming through and finding, or trying to find a little more damage You creep through A-Link, but the wall down over spawn, I guess, going to change viability, at least to make it a little harder for them to come through and find it here. Maybe just try and keep some of Fnatic on the site to die to the spike, but I don't think anybody's really going to make any moves here, Lauren.
No, this is... Klaus can keep that rifle. Delzik, if he could get an exit or two, that's kind of the game plan. Not going to be able to get any Fnatic out of there. Actually does get a little closer. Nah, no one to be found. Gonna just opt for the spike's way out. And Klaus can at least bring that through to the next round. I guess this is a tick in the box for Fnatic. They did do a nice clean round. They kept 4 rifles up. They convert and get themselves on the board. Crew did a little bit of damage. I'm sure they'd have liked a little bit more out of that.
Yeah.
You know, if they could have cost them a couple more rifles, that could have been huge for the economy. But this is as we expected. Now we get to the fun part, right? This is where it gets a little bit more interesting, is this first real buy round coming in. And what does Crew look like in these? Because we know what Fnatic look like. We've seen a little bit more of them. It's kind of been tried and tested to an extent, but Crew are a little less of a known quantity.
Indeed is. Going to trade out Sky Flashes at least on A here. Nags once again set up to greet this aggression. I'm sure actually doubled up with the Trailblazer. Durka will find it.
Yeah, Durka's looking pretty loose here. That's great for him as well. Just that confidence is key. Young players starting off really well, building up confidence could be massive. So that's a big work for him. The Seekers, as you highlighted, going to come through. And it doesn't give too much, really, at this point. Sky is left to isolate and kind of hold A on their own. And you can see the kind of causation and the effect now of just being that player down. And Fnatic looking elsewhere for that next step. Delzik could be on the chopping block, but he's solid at holding this.
I mean, other than the first blood, it's... I was going to say, other than the first blood, it's a big win there for Fnatic. They could drift away with the Seekers invested also. Nobody from Crew actually going to come over. B&J now trying to tuck in towards sandbags.
Yeah, timing works out so perfectly for Fnatic. They're going to get everything going for themselves. And once again, that constant pressure now in the back of their minds of that mid lurk coming out from Boaster. But Klaus with a really good shot towards Durka denies that quick start. Now it's going to at least kind of slow them down for a second, cause a little bit of a pause for thought, but the rest of the site's going to be swarmed, but Klaus denies. A huge 3K from him. Those 2 kills were integral. Now Boaster feels like a mile away. The spike's now going to be lost. Boaster has to pick up the pieces. Finding Delzik is the first step. Klaus a little less than ideal on HP. Big work from Boaster. This is scrappy, and somehow Fnatic pull it back.
A great recovery on that. Klaus does absolutely fantastic to find all those kills over on A, but somehow, I mean, I thought Boaster was potentially going to be lost in that lurk. There was a moment where, again, the situation comes through where they're able to potentially pinch him in B, but he somehow finds both of them through a link. And right there, I got to say, that's kind of a miracle, a blessing for Fnatic to close that round out with how things went down on A side, because they lost the spike as well, Lauren. It was deep on the site.
I thought that was done for, but yeah, Boaster pulling it out of nowhere for this, and that's a huge bonus for these boys, having your IGL not only operating on that sort of level, but also bringing it through in the game as well. So, already Durka going to just try and keep that economy looking healthy for him. Going to depend on the knives out for this one. Of course, on the other side, we do have Sheriffs. A little bit of armor around it as well. Klaus and Nagzek going to at least opt for light armor and the rifle in the hands of Mazzino.
I'm playing much deeper this time around, and Fnatic kind of leaning towards Garage initially. I guess just trying to get a feel for whether or not there's a stack anywhere. Maybe playing with lesser weapons, trying to close the distance and get the most value out of them, but 50 seconds left and no real moves made by Fnatic as they now look to creep towards the entry of B. Now, there is an alarm bot there, so Crew are going to have an opportunity to recover, should they, but Klaus actually going to spot both members outside B. A little bit of damage goes through, but no kill.
Yeah, the Viper Wall going to at least temper what could have potentially built off that Sage Wall, but there's Magnum still finding the Danger Man who did have the rifle. That won't be able to be filtered back. Now we look at potentially the damage to the economy, and at the moment they're not finding too many chances. Durka's going to slowly fall away from this, get himself the rifle that was lost, so at least going to keep everything tickety-boo for them. And the last 3 still just looking for a chance to do some damage here, and really Fnatic aren't giving them many opportunities.
No, they now find themselves in a 3v5 retake here, and not an awful lot left to do. Once again, I just looking to get some damage on both the catches. Nags inside. Garage, Durka comes through. The pinch is perfect. Magnum close things out. Delzik falls, and a flawless round there from Fnatic. really well considered. Once again, like taking all the time that it needs to in mid, anticipating that aggression from Crew, and it never actually came through. It's only really Klaus taking contact on B that, on both sides of the coin there was the turning factor. As soon as that comes through, Fnatic lean back in towards Garage. They know that nobody's holding close there. It leaves C wide open.
I want to see what this double stack on short might do for Crew here, because they're at least going to come back in with the buy. See if they maybe get a little bit aggressive. And it's going to be Durka on the other side as well. So yeah, B&J going to be posted up for the fight. And yeah, just straight up loses it. Durka is on today, and he's going to double down on it as well. Massive entry work from Durka. And you can see the pace he's going to work with. He knows the two that have been playing the site. Yes, Klaus does lean over here, but with it being so quick and so successful, they've got it all. This is a wrap in my mind. They're already backing away towards this. Yeah,
30 seconds in, you see already Crew have gone all the way back towards C site. Just going to give this one up. Yeah, maximum progress. Actually, I'm just going to retrieve the orb as well. They know they've got the time and the space to do so.
I mean, I wonder how good's Fnatic's money at this point? Could they go for a chase to get some of these guns away?
I think at least 3 of them, are going to have the opportunity to come, but whether or not Fnatic want to punish this. I mean, Doma's now 1 away from the res. Durka 3 out of 6 on the Blade Storm as well. Could potentially come through and get a little more ult progress, and like you said, punish the economy of Crew even further. And utility-wise as well, if you look at Crew, other than the 2 snake bites, see, going to be a little bit of a repurchase here. Fnatic do creep towards Garage. Might just take a little poke. I don't think they'll try and commit to this.
Yeah, you can see Delzik desperately trying to hold on to this. Doesn't want to lose these rifles. 3, you can kind of spread the wealth around and kind of drop out the rifles, maybe try and build up a bit of a buy around it. But we've also got to highlight Mazino and Delzik off to a bit of a quiet start. Mystic the same, but again, if you're facilitating the pieces of Sky, I don't mind too much. But Delzik, I mean, the hits haven't really been coming their way. They have been predominantly towards that A site, I guess, apart from that kind of buy against a little bit of a half buy towards C, but still, I'd like to see them both finding a little bit of form just to see the full power of Crew, because right now, Fnatic are starting to look comfy. Like, the money's getting a little bit too comfortable for me. You've got 8.4, 6.3, 7.7. They're starting to get all of it building their way, so hopefully they can maybe find an answer to this. And I don't know how you shut down someone like Durka, who's just already off to a belting start.
Yeah.
The man is just flying through this.
And I mean, the big thing is economy-wise, now Fnatic can start taking a few more risks, right? They now have a little bit of freedom to play around with things on the attack. As I assume we do have a little bit of a tactical pause coming through. Probably on the side of Crew, maybe to just reconsider things here. I think you make a good point, and really, again, look towards the new guys for Fnatic. Yes, we could talk about LAN experience and maybe a few jitters along the way, but for me, it's a huge positive. It goes without saying to see Durka, put on those, just stringing together a couple of kills early on. Those, I guess, regionally would have been the concerns, right? Coming in would be, there is a chance that, Fnatic, I guess, transition from the roster changes. There's still going to be issues.
Now, the thing that comes to my mind as well, and this is something that I guess you can talk about when it comes to younger players especially, is the difference a couple of good rounds can make. That confidence that, oh no, I'm good. Like I've got that hot hand today, everything feels fine, like I'm smooth, I'm feeling the game out. And for Durka to have a good beginning, that's just a huge confidence boost for him. That means that suddenly all that pressure that maybe he was feeling, just going to be alleviated instantly. Just going to be feeling out the game. If he keeps that up, fantastic for him. That's a really big tick in the box for Fnatic. Now for Crew on the other side, I think I want to see what answers they come up with here. I want to see how they try and deny these stunning entries from Durka. I mean, the guy's found form early, and it's hard to deal with. We've seen other teams having the same problem, trying to shut down big boys on the entry, right? It's not an easy thing to instantly counter. There's something about it. You got Yampy doing something similar as well. So, well, I want to see what the answer is from Crew.
Yeah, and the problem is the other side of what we just saw with that little bit of aggression into sewers. I call it a set piece if you like. That being shut down straight away, I don't want that to be, Crew just thinking, oh, we're not going to get away with that. we can't do it again because actually, like I said before this game started, before this map even started, Crew need to find value in those unorthodox rounds, the ones where they just make a slight adaptation, right? Because I think if they just sit deep and try and react to what Fnatic are doing, we know how quick and how well rehearsed and choreographed some of the site hits from Fnatic can be. And actually, with Durka hitting shots like that, again, they don't even need to rely on that. They just need to rely on Durka kind of going in and bread and butter playing entry.
I just heard that Viper just constantly jumping on the box. Thank you, Observer. It's just Yeti's like, no, we're going up to the rooftops. Get away from it. But all said, at this point, it does seem as though it's a technical pause rather than tactical. So I was like, well, this is a long one, but hopefully it all gets resolved nice and quick. Again, I'd rather have these players at 100% than anything less. So we can kind of maybe take a step back. And I'm going to be honest, the start of this, the first couple of pistols are like, oh my, these boys built different. They've got some wild aim, and they did. And Fnatic coming in with that mad aggression on the pistol, I was getting a little nervous, if I'm honest with you, but it seems to have kind of fallen into the right place, at least for Durka. But yeah, I'm looking to see if Crew do side to maybe get some. It's hard to find an answer though. Like we talk about, okay, defensive side of aggression, right? Well, if you go for the fight against Durka, you're going to be met by sheer force, and it seems as though he's on today. So we're about on the rest of the map. But bear in mind, Fnatic are holding a good default throughout this. So it's going to be tricky for them to find that kind of avenue of approach. You could sit deep on the site potentially, make Fnatic take side control, but these boys are solid at executions. They have really good set pieces. This is where I think we were always constantly going to ask the question when it came to Crew that we highlighted at the start. How deep is their knowledge when it comes to being pushed out of their comfort zone? Because we know they dominate when they don't get tested on these things. But if they start being pressured, how deep is that answer? Do they have that strat boot, that little bit of kind of maybe a go-to that they could maybe look towards?
I mean, the other thing is that again, I was call it a criticism if you like, but talking about Crew not having kind of a contingency plan behind their default, just a small thing like Magnum always playing that flank control. Always having the turret outside, garage, double doors, and being there. The thing is, Fnatic are always ready to react on that. Every time they fight for this A lobby control or A long control, if there's contact anywhere else, they're ready to capitalize on it. And actually just switching things up as soon as they then don't fight for A lobby control, you've got the problem of then it's potentially 3 or 4 players stacked up outside garage, and that's so easy to overwhelm.
You get to enjoy how cool the stat looks, at least. That's one bonus. Like, we can stop being super serious until the tech pause is showed up. They've got branded coffee cups. Like, why don't I have that?
Yeah, I was just saying,
like drink cups. Like, give me some of this.
Yeah.
Hook me up. I'll hit the start game again button if you send them over. But it does seem as though the tech pause will be carrying on for a bit, and we've kind of discussed our thoughts at least on this matchup. But there's plenty more to be said today. Like, look at that. They can keep that Red Bull in the cups and everything. Oh, unfair, unfortunate. I just get my little sippy cup so I don't dribble on myself. But at this point, we do have to talk bigger picture because, again, a lot of people are touting this to be not necessarily a huge chance of an upset, but it could have been something to maybe catch Fnatic off if they weren't on their A game. They look fine so far, but it's only map 1 and we're barely into it. So you then kind of look towards the bigger picture of things, right? Like, how much do we read into Scrimbucks? Are you all aboard the Scrimbucks conversation? Like, where do you sit on Scrimbucks? I gotta see it now.
It's a difficult one. I think when you talk about
don't half
like,
it. Come on, all in, dude.
No, I'm staying on the fence here. I'm staying on the fence. I think when you think about teams like Fnatic in particular, they're not a team to ever really show you in one series of scrims kind of everything they've got. I just. Can we again? I petitioned for this. I petitioned for this in EMEA. We need Boasterpov just the whole time. Just a camera fixed on Boaster's desk.
He puts on a show, you know, the dance moves. There's so much to go through, but yeah, I mean, as said, I think for me, when I look bigger picture now at the tournament, if Fnatic can deliver in this, I think at least we know where EU somewhat stands to an extent. And I think people have not overcommitted to their hype behind Liquid, but I think if anyone followed Liquid's trail into this tournament, this was a good run, but it was pretty dicey before that. But it does seem as though we're back underway, so I will shut the hell up and start talking about the game in front of us, because yes, there's the timer. Look, I wait until you see the timer go down. I'm like, all right, no worries. Here we go. 4-2 here, Fnatic up against KRU. It's hard to bring myself back in. But we will be seeing if there's now adaptation from KRU. Their money is in a little bit of a spot of bother. They have 2 SMGs now to supplement those 3 rifles.
Blinded.
Yeah, actually, again, just talking about that again, Nags. Off the back of that flash in A lobby, just straight away invest the wall to slow things down, just in case a fast hit does come through. Now, Magnum and Durka going to stay put for the time being. And see elsewhere, Mystic and Boast are showing a little bit of presence over towards C. Now, that's going to bring one player in the form of Delzik over towards site. Doma actually looked as if, I guess they're waiting on this wall to fall, and actually Durka going to show on long as well. So this is really interesting here. Fnatic actually now don't look as if they have a good read on the setup. Again, nobody from KRU really overstepping the mark, leaving an opening.
You can see the information wanted to be garnered by BNJ. There we go. Gets, again though, it really is just seeing Durka, so it's kind of hard to work out how much there is on this, but the Seekers do go in, so this is pressure across the board. Now look at this misplay, look at this misread, potentially coming out from KRU. Yeah, they're committing to these rotations towards B, but that spike is slowly creeping up through A long. This is sick work. Now they need Durka to at least be the kind of tip of the spear in this. Now look at that. Perfect bait and switch. Put all that attention towards C. Slowly crept up towards A. That's stunning, but there is a chance of a retake here for KRU.
And Boaster way deep still on C long. Durka now gonna be the front man, like you said, the tip of the spear inside this Sage wall. And actually, counter lockdowns on both sides, both invested here, so it's gonna be chaos on the side. Boaster got to come through, potentially shut down that lockdown, Lauren.
You got 5 seconds. One's been shut down, the other's still going 2-on-1. So that does mean KRU's gonna have to get out of there, detained. 2 players now caught up in this. Fnatic reaggressed. You can see a Magnum just takes the ball by the horns. Huge work from Fnatic. Denies the retake with a perfect execution. Every analyst, every fan of your thinking man's Valorant will adore what we just saw.
Yeah, beautiful. And actually in the early round, again, like I said, Fnatic didn't look as if they'd got a good read on the setup from KRU, but they run it out long enough. They show presence on both sides, and actually utility invested. Now the Astra divide comes up on C, and it creates this chaos. KRU are left second guessing. Now with 2 players shown, the flash comes through, they actually assume the hit's coming through. And that leaves A wide open. BNJ throws a flash over from A link. It doesn't actually flash, but he hears Durka dash on behind it. Now that right there, it's just so good to watch around like that back, like you said. It's so well considered when you look at the early round.
Oh, that was gorgeous. I could watch that time and time again. Durka going to be waiting on that heal to work out for himself. Back up to full, looking like a glass cannon, but he'll be just fine with that op. So the first time we're going to see the op coming out for him. A bit of a hybrid when it comes to it. We kind of highlight it on the likes of Icebox, which I'm sure we'll talk about, how varied he can be in that approach. But for now, the first time we get to see it here, so looking to see if he can maybe punish, but it's a little dicey when you're playing it up against the Sheriffs, and there we go. First one to come down, Durka gonna find Klaus. Just slowly but surely, you can see Fnatic trying to just work away at KRU. No rush on it either. Fnatic still have about a minute to play with, so Durka's still happy to be the first one forward. And Delzik trying to find the timing just right, but Magnum's... Oh no, the timing.
Oh,
that could have been bad,
Really?
but it wasn't. We're fine.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing I was talking about here. Magnum having complete control outside double doors makes it so difficult for any aggression. As I say that, Nag's going to find 2 on the way in. Doma and Boaster actually trade back. But damage done on the side of KRU as Fnatic try and bully their way onto B site.
There's a little bit of danger in this. BNJ does at least have light armor in that, but now he's gone. It's done for Doma. Gonna find Delzik, and op could be recovered? Question mark? Doesn't look as though it will be. For now, across the board, there was a little bit of danger, sure, but it was dealt with immediately. The trade did come back in eventually after that nice little 2-play pickup, but at 6-2, we can't be looking at bits and pieces anymore. You can't be looking at, oh, but that was a nice shot. No, we got to see a little bit more than just that. As you can see, that was Doma just shutting it down at the end. All the contingencies in place. But at 6-2, as said, we can't look at those small wins for the economy. Now. Yeah, this is getting a little bit rough. Oh, and Durka's got so much room. Coupled with that Astra utility, he can just start building up on this one. Going to try and back away a touch, get the utility work down before he has to get involved here. Sky gonna at least slow down the progress, but Magnum's got his back, and in we go already. Fnatic just bullying their way through. This is just brazen aggression, and KRU don't know what to do with it.
And the problem here, I mean, this is the sort of pace change we talk about with Fnatic, where they sit in the default for so many rounds and they show little bits of presence here and there that they'll just stack up as 5 and, like I said, just bully their way onto A site here. Isolating Nags perfectly on long. B&J, nothing really to do there with 2 players stacked up in sewer as well. It's beautiful from Fnatic. Magnum actually. Oh, there's pants down in the window there. Gotta respect it with 10 HP now.
He's fine. Boaster, help me out, dude. I don't want that fight. Actually, tell the lie, he's gone. Oh,
He's still challenged.
he had 10 HP, dude. He had 10 HP. What's going on?
But this is the sort of thing I was talking about, right? You can put this under the banner of, you know, unless you're set up to deal with just how many different looks Fnatic have, it's so difficult to find, you know, map control in the early round. And, you know, early on, the things that I kind of like to see was this wall on contact in sewers, right? I mean, we haven't even talked about Mazino's setup here. The default with the Viper wall coming all the way across B entry, covering sewers, and then also A long. It should give them a lot more control than they're getting. They're not really finding anything from that. So I do want to see a little bit of an adaptation, a little bit of a switch up, because it looks as if Fnatic have got a couple of different ways to address this formation from KRU, and I'll be honest, right now KRU don't look as if they have enough in the playbook to stop Fnatic.
No, and this was the worry that I think we came into this with, was they seem to understand some of the concept. They run very similar compositions, but how deep is that knowledge of actually executing those ideas? And Fnatic are just flexing on them now. This is a big display from the boys, and it should be a bit of a call to the rest of the tournament saying, well, no, Fnatic are very much the real deal. They look solid. Delzik can be forced away from Garage for now. Magnum can start progressing through if desired. You can see the little Sky Flash to help out. Boaster be the first man forward, and Delzik does get spotted, but Boaster doesn't look phased by this at this point.
It's just anticipating somebody peeking through from window, but nothing. Actually, Delzik and Mazzino, they come through, try and clear through Garage. Now it's just one. Delzik left solo, so we might just catch Boaster. He does indeed. Seekers come through, so got to back away now. But the damage is done. First blood in favor of KRU.
Yeah, brilliant timing on that, but there's that mid lurk coming out from Durka this time rather than Boaster. It does get shut down by Nagzit, but there's the res on both sides now invested. Back up to a 5v4. Durka still lost, of course, but Boaster still looking to try and progress through. Garage finds Delzik this time.
Boaster.
Double down on it, looking for the triple on it. Boaster is a madman right now. Insane work from him. And Mazzino is a mile away from trying to deny this. Maybe he could find one of them, but can he deny the plant? No, Magnum's got the back, and there it is. Fnatic just flexing now.
Boaster. That was beautiful. But also, just talk about it a little bit earlier on than that. Delzik kind of being isolated in Garage. The Seekers get invested, and as soon as that presence is shown, Fnatic try and lean away. They see the 2 Seekers go directly towards C site. They try and isolate that 1 player on B. This first peek here, beautiful shot at the cloud, and then finds the wallbang as well onto Nags. Fnatic starting to feel themselves, Lauren.
Yep. The confidence is looking sky high. They're starting to just, it's like everyone's just having that on game here. They've started, it was a little bit of a shaky start. They lost the first 2, but by that point, once those rifles came out on deck, it has been pretty much flawless at this point. And we do have the op back out for Durka, so have to keep an eye on what he can achieve with this. It does seem as though, yep, Viper going to invest in towards C, just going to lock that down. Pretty standard at this point.
Again, though, we're 10 rounds in, and we haven't seen KRU kind of dip their toes any further than the top of short on A. That's it. And it's the only area of the map. I mean, yes, you could say, Garage and C, maybe even C Link. Double stack. Might find one. Actually, yeah, Magnum good for the trade, though.
Yeah, Magnum's been pretty decent at the trading, and the spacing's okay. A little bit of a shame to lose Boaster like that, but Durka's going to be just fine finding Klaus. You can see Mazzino, yeah, you can check C long, but that's not where the problem really lies at the moment. And Fnatic have good map control. B&J still going to be dedicated towards long. Going to have a chance to maybe find one on this. The shoulder peek and then the reaggress is going to force him off the angle. But Fnatic are keeping the opponents guessing. They show towards A, they've now hit towards B potentially. This is still very much up in the air. It looks like that commitment towards B now comes in. Durka up on top, but Nagzet does finally have a good read on this. Getting a little bit trickier, but Doma gonna at least keep the site safe. Spike gonna go down, and a 3v2 post plant.
And B&J actually spotted out here. Maybe isolated in window. Mazzino got to get something done to draw the pressure away from B&J. Will actually find Magnum off screen somewhere. Mazzino comes through, going to clear all the sides. So they should know that actually they've got a decent pinch opportunity.
Yeah, these are scary times now. Fnatic back to the wall, both of them there. Now Mazzino's going to be the first one out. Spots one. Might have heard the secondary gunfire. B&J needs to come around. Can't do it. Mazzino! Oh, tried to dig deep enough for it, but Doma denies. And Fnatic just going from strength to strength now.
Last round in the half.
Yeah, comes down to the final round. And again, I got to say it. We've gone this long without seeing KRU dip their toes in fighting for any of this territory in the early round. Yes, ultimate invested there from Mazzino, and he's able to explore C long, but that's it, right? Explore, and it's solo. So,
They'll take him at this point.
Really, really cheeky kill actually on the window there. But yeah, I gotta say it's just way too passive from KRU. You cannot give Fnatic this much space to operate in.
Yeah, we said it stylistically. This isn't a mismatch. This is actually a pretty close matchup in that regard. But Fnatic are known as one of the best at it. They're the ones who kind of set a lot of this concept towards meta, and for now, they're just styling on it. That's going to be the first pickup towards A long. Now, yes, Klaus does hit those rotations early, but they've now been conditioned to worry about that flank, or at least they should be, because already Boaster is right there. Peeking through on the divide, though, Mazzino going to do the best he can. He does catch the rotation. That's one bonus found for them this round.
They're going to wait out this wall. B&J actually nearly caught off guard, but we'll still find something with the Guardian once again here. Magnum going to invest the lockdown in sewers here, so they've got to respect this and back away from sight for the time being. The flash actually to force them off that angle as well. Going to give them complete sight control here. An opportunity to set up in this post plant. Dome already gets that wall down. It's going to be able to reinforce with plenty of time left.
Nice post plants coming out. Mystic finding Klaus to begin with. We do see the divide coming in. The last flash put through by Mystic. Going to put it down towards CT. The retake going to start coming through, though. You can see the utility trying to divide it, but Mystic's having none of it. Doma's still there. This retake is going nowhere. Fnatic just holding perfect post plants. They are making KRU feel so uncomfortable in every turn. And for a start, let's real talk. This 10-2 is a huge scoreline.
Yeah, it is, especially when, for me, Fnatic's win condition on this map in particular is having a good attacking half. We know how punishing they can be on defense, how proactive they can be. I mean, their defensive executions here are just absolutely relentless. It's every single round, Lauren. And really, this is the map that, yes, you could talk about Bayern being their strongest. This is the map that I think actually, playstyle-wise, they can flex the hardest on. It really plays to their strengths in being able to be versatile and capitalize off that early round information.
All right, it's got to start with a pistol. KRU fans, you've got to be hoping for it. The deep flash goes in. Mazzino going to start progress up towards C long. Keep your eyes across the map, though. We do have work towards short as well for KRU. Nagzet there going to try and get a little bit of control building, and we've said that KRU do play that quite, not necessarily super slow default, but they play a good default. They don't really get caught up by crazy aggression too often, so again, expect a little bit of a considered piece here, and Mazzino's going to punish. Brilliance from Mazzino, waiting so well. Yes, he took damage for it, but going to claim 2 and force rotations. You can see it. Sky's on the way over. Killjoy's already on the way over. This is now going to put Doma on an island.
He's got to find this first kill clean. Or at least find the information. We'll actually get the time in there, and he's going to wall off and respect the push for the time being, but stacked up here. He's actually going to dip back in. We'll find the first, we'll find the second as well. Doma, he's gone huge for Fnatic here, leaving them in a 2v3 retake.
He's just made that possible. I don't know how he got away with it. He looked like he was dead. He was a dead man walking, but still. The post-plant positioning should be somewhat okay, but there's still utility. That's going to be a bit of an issue. Magnum going to try and work back in, decides to just go for it, gun out here. Delzik, though, going to agree him with a smile. That's Mystic gone, now just in the hands of Magnum. A 1v3, not going to happen, and KRU convert the first. It's exactly what they need to build back into this game, as they need everything now.
Yeah, Yeah, they do. And at this point, I mean, with this round deficit, you know, plays like that from Doma, that kind of unexpected to see him kind of re-peek on the short when he knows that it's 3, potentially even 4 players stacked up behind that. But again, Fnatic, they have rounds to play with. They can do things like this to catch crew off guard.
Still can't believe Doma got away with that. That was absolutely nuts. We do have the scout looking, you know, we've got the kind of classic purchase to come through. I'm not sure if I love that from Durka and Doma. This is, yeah, I'm not sold on the Marshall at this point, if I'm honest, but you can see it's done absolutely nothing. And it's gonna be a quick lean towards A. Yeah, the chase is on, but at this point, Bulldog recovered. That's gonna be for Mystic, but Boaster left with very little. And yeah, no real impact. Yes, Mazzino's down, but that's about it.
And just look for them to do as much damage as possible, especially in these early rounds here, to kind of stop that momentum building for crew. Again, it's the big thing crew are looking for here. They're clean round wins, right? Saving as much as they can going through, not having to worry about armor repurchases, weapon repurchases. Klaus playing perfectly off the turret there to deal with Boaster. Mystic, I expect, actually, with that Marshall purchase, potentially to save this through. Okay, he's actually going to come through and try and dive to the spike as well. Maybe keep somebody on the site. Yeah, I tries to send out a sound cue to make him believe, but not going to work, and he will fall.
Okay, 4 alive. Second round converted. Not too much damage done off the back of that investment from Durka. I mean, you know, they've got rounds to play with. Fair enough. But I guess why not try it? Like, I'm normally such a proponent of people trying to kind of switch things up a little bit and actually go for, you know, unique plays, but these flashes just... Was that a team flash, or did that get popped, or was it shot? It did look as though he was absolutely team flashed, but Mystic just still able enough
still
to convert
found,
at least a kill. Yeah, it's like, alright mate, fair enough. No worries. But rifles are out completely for Fnatic now. This is where, if there is going to be a comeback, it has to start now. There's no two other ways about it. It has to be now, and crew going to opt to stick on what they've got. They don't have many other options, it seems as though. So this is a huge round for crew if they want to have a chance, at least in map 1.
I love this as well. Durka instantly walking mid, and as soon as he gets to the bottom, Fnatic know they can lean towards A. Again, they got the Killjoy set up over on C. You can sit in garage and comfortably control that side, but Fnatic now can put a lot of emphasis if there's any presence shown. Actually, Doma investing the wall on sewers makes it pretty much only A long the crew can make a play on for the time being. That wall expiring, Boaster gonna pop a star at the top of ramp there. You can see that gets popped as well, and they're gonna be in a good position to greet crew on the way in here.
And the fast flank from Durka is going to be there as well, so... I want to keep my eyes on that. Mystic, happy to stand here. He's going to get the advantage on the fight to start with. Big trade for Mazzino, but still, Doma's still in place. This is a shutdown. The flash came out, but didn't blind him enough to be able to get away with it. Boaster now on the site as well. Mazzino with it all to do. A 1v3 presented. This would have to be an ace to save the side. And Fnatic deny. They keep 2 standing, and they get to 11. Crew needed that, and it just fell to pieces.
And actually, timing-wise, that played into Crew's favor, because I think Boaster actually drifted back into A-Linker, I guess, to reset and put that star over on short when, I guess, the information was relayed from Mystic that, you know, actually nobody's pushing through yet. Plays in the side here. Actually finds 2 on the way in. Doma will find the 3rd as well. And again, just a really well-considered round for Fnatic off the back of just walking mid, honestly. Durka walks down mid, and they know they can lean away from this side of the map.
They don't care about the turret. They're just going to instantly start this. Magnum takes the fight. They are playing like the favored team here. And I like that. The confidence to come in and play to your level rather than the opponent's. Klaus is down. Durka's still pushing up here, looking for another fight. Finds it. Walks away, says, I've done some damage. I don't mind anymore. But they did lose Doma in the meantime. Now, that's actually something that could cause Fnatic some struggles.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this match, I mean, the one thing Fnatic are known for are these defensive executions. And Jay actually will find Boaster. Like I was saying, being extremely proactive like this, if they can keep finding success, they will just dismantle the default from crew. Oh, okay, actually, Mystic had an opportunity to line 2 up there, and Actually, find that Magnum. Gonna catch the audio cue though.
Hold on.
He's gonna be in a perfect position to catch coming out
Have
sewer.
I told you about Magnum's 1v3? It starts like this. He gets the first, that's a spike now. Lost, but the trade came out as a different round. Nagzit's gonna find it, and KRU managed to stay alive, and they met the ungodly aggression, and they've managed to work their way forward. So, as it stands, 11-5. But I don't think we've seen a normal Fnatic round. We've had Durka walk in mid, we've had this madness, that re-aggress constantly. They are just pushing KRU now every single time.
The other thing is and usually we would see Fnatic just throw everything on the line to fight for A lobby control. And it's usually, you know, Magnum to hold down mid, garage, and C in the first kind of 15 to 20 seconds in order to achieve that. Here, actually, we're seeing a complete switch up, and I guess actually they're respecting KRU's setup a lot more than I was anticipating. Dirk actually going to find Nags here very early on. The wall gets invested.
Toxin screen down.
Now, there's a little bit of danger to this round. Looking at the armor with Doma, looking at a little bit of light armor with Magnum. There is a rifle with Durka who's got his HP back up now. You can see KRU now taking their time. Fnatic, would you dare go? I guess you don't have much to lose. You want to try and thread the needle, find that timing, but KRU seems so aware of the possibility. Klaus is going to be on red alert after those last couple of rounds.
Yeah.
KRU really need to be watching everything. They can't take it for granted. Boaster's already going walkabouts in mid. He's got Durka by his side as well. So as KRU do progress towards A, there is going to be that little bit of a notion in the back of their minds going, okay, maybe there's a time limit on this. Okay, and there's a flash. So information found for Fnatic, but Mystic's going to be outgunned in this one. Flash comes back in from BNJ. And actually, investment of the ult, but with the slow towards short, going to deny quick progress here. And Fnatic can just wait at the back of sight.
Yeah, two players being tucked in hell makes it really difficult for KRU. They've got to come through and deal with these players. They don't have site control just yet. Durka with a Magnum in hand as well. The third on the round for him.
He can't get away with this!
Enemy remaining.
How on earth has he been allowed to get away with this? Fnatic turn it to 12. And in any essence of KRU, just for a second having a lapse in judgment, Fnatic punish from the backlines. Durka finding the space to operate when he really shouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, and I mean, with the lockdown being invested, all they need to do is have somebody come up long. And they spot that out. They spot that there's going to be two players in hell. Just, yeah, really, really strange. But Durka gets away with murder, you got to say it. Finding the third on the round initially there, and then finding the fourth. And
they're walking mid.
Invested as well.
Durka's just walking mid at map point, and he's got 2 kills. He's on fire right now, and he wants to keep going, but Klaus denies it, extinguishing the flames, so they're starting to build through mid. Doma, though, on the push as well. This is dominance from Fnatic at 13-5. Map 1 is a wrap.
And that ends in the fashion that I would have expected early on from Fnatic, right? And again, you give them an inch, they take a mile, and those are the sorts of rounds that they just look so damn good. Boaster, happy with that one. Very, very happy with that one. And a